Greetings, everybody. It's
Vegapunk time.
That's right. Today we're going to talk about the man, the myth, the woman, Dr. Vegapunk, him, herself. If you haven't already, go ahead and drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Yo, this is super small for you, but it helps me out a whole lot. And let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
Yo, so it goes without saying that after the release of chapter 1060, Vegapunk has the entire fan base going nuts. Let's just start off by addressing the elephant in the room. He's a female. That's right. Dr. Vegapunk, who we've been hearing about this whole time, is actually a girl. And this is the same kind of thing that Oda did with Yamato. Oda really enjoys the ambiguity of a character's sex and sometimes doesn't even acknowledge it with the story. He just lets you figure it out for yourself. But it does have the fan base a little triggered, and that's because we were always told that Vegapunk was an old man. Since he was first really depicted in chapter 684, Vegapunk has always been referenced as an old man. And even before that, in chapter 433, when Kobe's talking to Luffy and he mentions Vegapunk, he mentions him as being a man. So why is it in the most recent chapter, Vegapunk has been reintroduced to us as a woman? I mean, here we go. We've got years worth of hints and foreshadowing about a character, and here comes Oda to turn it all on its head. It's Oda trolling his fan base at his best. I made a whole video about Oda trolling his fan base and why we love him for it. Link will be in the description. But I think that we have concrete proof that up until this point, Vegapunk has factually not always been a woman, so I can pretty much rule the idea of him always being a woman out. I know some people are excited that Oda has been trolling his fan base this entire time and that Vegapunk has been a woman the whole time, but I highly doubt it. There's just been too many references to him being an old man for a retcon this big to make sense. And of course, people will definitely reference the fact that Oda made a comment before One Piece Red came out saying that he's tired of writing and drawing old men and he wants to draw more women. So in that vein, he's definitely introduced people like Doll to us, and he's definitely upped the drawing of a lot of female characters in the story. But I definitely think reintroducing Vegapunk as a woman is just a way to trigger the fan base, and Oda knows how to do this. He's been doing it for years. Now, having said that, there's a couple of theories and talking points I want to throw out at you, and I'm sure none of this stuff is original, and I'm sure people have been talking about it all over, so buckle up. I'm just gonna ramble off the top of my head. And the first one is that Vegapunk is confirmed the smartest mind in the One Piece universe. Okay, I liken this to being the world's strongest man, or the world's strongest swordsman, or the pirate king, right? He's the smartest person in the One Piece universe. Confirmed. You're talking about the man who cracked the code on the lineage factors, so it's not far-fetched to say that this woman that we see here in front of us at the end of the most recent chapter is a creation of Vegapunk. Maybe she's some sort of android or cybernetic body that Vegapunk created for himself. I could totally imagine, Vegapunk maybe might be getting a little bit up in age, and he gives a call to his old pal, Dr. Gero from Dragon Ball, and they get to kicking it back and catching up. And Dr. Gero explains to him, yeah, dude, android bodies, they are the way to go. You just upload your consciousness via Thunderbolt cord and wait a couple of minutes and you're good to go. So to be honest, this isn't even slightly far-fetched for Vegapunk, and it's probably easy for him, right? I mean, you have people like Frankie out here walking around with completely cybernetic bodies that he built for himself. Adding to that point, we definitely know that Vegapunk was able to remove Kuma's consciousness. So if he's able to remove a consciousness, why would he not be able to transfer his own, or maybe even create a new one? And as far as creating consciousnesses go, I can't even really say that. How do you say that plural? Anyways, that's always been Vegapunk's MO. I mean, we saw it with the pacifistas. Sure, they're kind of old and clunky and robotic. However, they were machines developed to act on their own. Of course, we saw it with the evolution of Kuma, how he went from a sort of caring, loving figure in Sabo's past to a completely cold android shell of a man in the present. And we kind of see it in the Seraphim when they go to attack Blackbeard and Hancock. They kind of have the smiles and smirks on their faces, and it's almost as if they are showing emotion and they enjoy attacking these pirates. And even at the end of this last chapter, Vegapunk clearly states that he invented the shark to do one thing, and it's acting on its own, right? He invented the shark to survey and recon and possibly attack enemy ships, but instead, the shark just wants to eat nearby ships. So clearly, the shark is doing some thinking on its own. It's also a possibility that Vegapunk has figured out how to make an inanimate object sentient. Oda already introduced the idea of implanting devil fruits into inanimate objects and that giving it some sort of sentience in itself. We've seen it with Funkfried, and we've seen it with the dog rocket launcher thing in Alabasta. So none of what I'm saying here is far-fetched, and it's definitely possible that Vegapunk has discovered a way to make these androids show feeling and emotions and think for themselves. So I guess my bottom line here is that I'm definitely getting Cyborg 009 vibes, and that this is definitely not the actual Vegapunk's body, and this may have been invented with a specific purpose. I don't know if the actual Vegapunk's body is still in existence. It might be, and we also might have a brain situation going on where, you know, the evil genius mad scientist is just nothing else but a floating brain in a tank. And Oda could definitely be dipping into his science fiction bag in this next arc, and I'm here for it. I definitely also think it's a possibility that Vegapunk could have a plethora of android bodies that he's created for different situations. So don't be surprised if we get a battle punk android in the near future. And I've mentioned this before, but Oda has definitely played on the gray area that is Vegapunk's allegiance. She works for the Marines. However, a lot of the work that they do has not only been scientific advancements, but has done a lot of good and has actually helped the world of One Piece. On top of that, the more selfish and more self-serving scientists in the One Piece world don't really seem to like Vegapunk at all. I mean, they don't seem to get along with him, or they just outright jealous of him. And it seems like their morals just don't align. I'm talking about Caesar, I'm talking about Judge, and I'm talking about Queen here. That doesn't change the fact that most of his work does get contributed to the Marines. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a Garp situation here where Garp is pretty much 100% behind the Marines. However, Garp's morals kick in when he sees that the Marines aren't as great as they're portrayed to be, and they can definitely do some messed up stuff. It's also a little weird that Vegapunk has some dealings with the Revolutionary Army. I mean, he definitely at the very least has a relationship with Kuma, and he's trusted Dr. Vegapunk with his body and his consciousness, which is definitely no small thing. I mean, if you're gonna go tinkering around in my mind and body, I'm definitely at the very least going to have to trust you. So up until this point, we really don't know what side Vegapunk is on, but he has the majority of the time been on the side of the military, and there's really no reason for us to think that he wouldn't go after pirates. And in the last chapter, he basically outright states that, yeah, you pirates are so naive to think that I saved you guys from that shark. I made the shark to attack you. I think it would be really cool if we get to see some sort of battle between Vegapunk and the Straw Hats. However, I really don't see this happening in seriousness. Maybe we'll get a clash here and there, but with Vegapunk being the main central figure of this next arc, however long it is, it's not really Oda's style to introduce the big bad at the very beginning of the arc. Unless you're Kaido, right? Let me know what you think. Yo, the Oda trolling is at an all-time high, and he has the fan base completely spinning. So I'm buzzing to hear what you guys think about it. Make sure you drop a comment below, drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you to all my subscribers. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay healthy. I know in Florida here, we're dealing with Hurricane Ian. It's pretty bad, so make sure you guys stay safe and stay healthy. I really mean that. This is Sifu That Guy, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.